Phew, this week is finally over. This week has been a tough one, to put it mildly. We started off the week with a video series called The Root and Fruit of Pride. I had no idea that pride covers such a broad spectrum. For example, sarcasm. When this came up, I'm like, dang, that's like my second nature. But it turns out that this week would just get harder from that point on, because we started talking about offenses and radical obedience. And while we were being taught that, I thought it'd be a good idea to read a book called Humility by Andrew Murray, and I'll leave the link in the description for that. And that turned out to be a very big mistake, because I felt very convicted while I was reading that. Don't get me wrong, it was a great book. This caused me to take an afternoon and an evening to wrestle through what I had been reading and being taught, because they overlap so much. And as if that wasn't enough, my pastor started a new sermon series, and you'll never guess what the topic was. That's right, it was all about offenses. I think God has a sense of humor, and that He's trying to tell me something. It wasn't all tough, though. I was sitting at the breakfast table with a couple fellow students, and I forget what the discussion was about, but I said, we're like the Three Amigos. And one of them pipes up and says, we're more like the Three Stooges. While I was at the nursing home, I talked with a resident for about an hour and a half, just about whatever came to mind. And as we're talking, her nurse comes in with her pain pills, and I felt prompted to pray for her. Well, I did pray for her eventually, but not until we were about to leave. So as I'm praying for her, a nurse walks in. I didn't know this until after I had finished praying for the resident. After we were finished praying, the resident asked me if she could pray for me. And what was really cool, that the nurse that came in while I was praying joined me and one of my team in prayer, and the resident prayed for me. And after we were done, the resident says, "Wait here, I have a book for you." I'm like, okay. And she comes back with the book, and it's called The View from the Rocking Chair, and I'll leave the link in the description for that one too. Yeah, it was a really cool experience praying for her. And it's not something that I would generally do, but I listen to the voice of God, as that's what I've been taught to do. So I'd like to thank you for all your prayers, and I will talk to you next week.